Welcome back, students, to the next chapter, that is the system of particles, the rotational motion. You know what is a point object, a particle or a system? What is the basic difference between a particle? What is a particle? Any object having finite mass is known as the particle, and the system. What is system? The collection of particles. Collection of particles is known as the system. And now in rotational motion, the types of motion you can study is the linear motion, translational motion, circular motion, and the most important, the rotational motion. Now, what is the basic difference between these motion? You have to study now the linear motion. The particle is moving along a single straight line, and that line may be along x-axis, that may be along y-axis, and may be along z-axis, but only one axis is considered there, and all the particles is moving. Suppose this is the object, and if this object is moving in a linear motion, all the particles will travel the same distance. Okay. What about the translational motion? This is about the single particle. What do you understand by the translational motion? If this is the body and there are many particles in this body, and if it's travel along x-axis, what you will observe, this particle will travel the distance. All the particles will travel equal distances while they are moving. In equal time they will travel equal distances. It means all the particles are having the translational motion as the whole body is moving. यहाँ पे क्या है, एक सिंगल पार्टिकल मूव हुआ और उसने जो भी डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल किया, दैट इज द लीनियर मोशन. लेकिन अगर हम एक पूरा सिस्टम ऑफ पार्टिकल्स लेते हैं जिसमें बहुत सारे पार्टिकल हैं एक ऑब्जेक्ट के अंदर, और जब वो ऑब्जेक्ट मूव करेगा डायरेक्ट, सपोज आप ये एक डस्टर लेते हैं और जब ये पूरा इसके ऊपर बहुत सारे पार्टिकल्स हैं, जब ये ऐसे मूव करेगा तो वो उनकी पोजीशन फिक्स है पार्टिकल्स की. लेकिन जब वो ऐसे मूव करेंगे तो सारे के सारे पार्टिकल पैरेलल डायरेक्शन में इक्वल डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल करेंगे जितना एक पार्टिकल ट्रेवल करेगा. दिस टाइप ऑफ मोशन इज नोन एज द translational motion. And now the circular motion. If the object is moving along a circle, this is the initial point, and it is traveling along this circular path, this kind of motion is known as the circular motion. At each and every point the object is changing its direction. Okay. Now the rotational motion. What do you mean by the rotational motion? Now you can see, suppose this kind of object is there. This particle, if it is moving around one point, it will travel this kind of motion, the circular motion, along a fixed point as the center. If we talk about this point, this will also travel the circular path and keeping one point as the center. Similarly, if this point is moving, this will also travel the circular path and along the center. In this way, you can observe that some of these circles are of larger radius and some are of smaller radius. What is this? As the r is changing, time is same. As the r is changing, then its velocity also changes. You know, v is equal to r into omega. The angular velocity remains the same. If r is small, the velocity is less. It will travel lesser distance. If r is more, this velocity is more, it will travel longer distance. And now students, you are able to see that the one point is fixed here. Along this point, all particles are rotating. This is the center point of this. And the axis passing through the center point, axis passing through this center point is known as the axis of rotation. Is known as the axis of rotation, along which the particles are rotating. This kind of motion is known as the rotational motion, because this particle, and if you rotate the whole body, what is going on? It will move here while rotating. This body will move here, and if it is rotating like this, and there is one translational motion and one circular motion, and collectively it is called as the rotational motion, because each and every particle is rotating. But this point at the center is fixed, and the axis which pass through this point is known as the axis of rotation. If all these 3 points are clear to you, the linear motion, translational motion and the rotational motion, then you can easily understand the chapter, that is rotational motion or the system of particles. Note it. These are now the important terms. You can recall again. The particle. What do you mean by particle? Any object having the finite mass whose size and the internal structure can be neglected. It can be a point object. Then the system. System is the collection of many particles, including this definition, and these particles can interact with each other in the system. Any rigid body can act as a system, and this rigid body is having many particles inside it. Then the internal forces. These particles inside the body can interact with each other, they can apply the forces, and the net internal force on the rigid body, on the system, is considered to be as 0, because they applies the force, mutual forces on each other, but we consider that these forces are equal and opposite and they cancel each other. That's why the total internal forces are taken to be 0. Then the external force, the outside force which is exerted on the body to move that body, to compress that body, to elongate the body, is known as the external force, which can change the shape, size and motion, the state of position of the object, is the external force. Now the axis of rotation, as in the explanation I told, the body is rotating about an axis. This body is rotating about this axis. Suppose this is the body and this body is rotating like this, and this center point, the one particle is there which is not rotating with the body, that is the axis passing through those points is known as the axis of rotation, through which the body is rotating, and that axis is the fixed axis. Then the plane of rotation. The plane of rotation and the axis of rotation are two different things. The plane of rotation means the plane or the coordinate axis in which the body rotates. How you can identify this? How you can differentiate this? Suppose this is the combination of 3 axes, x, y and z, and I tell you that this body is rotating like this. This body is rotating like this. Here you can see that the x-axis is fixed. The body is rotating along x-axis. So this x-axis is considered as its axis of rotation. But which parameters are changing? The y and z. This you are rotating this. The y and z parameters are changing. So here the x is the axis of rotation and the yz is the plane of rotation. Similarly, you can understand with this duster, if you are rotating this duster along y-axis, what is happening there? This is now changing its axis. So here y is the axis of rotation and zx is the plane. Similarly, you can repeat this process along all the axes. So the plane of rotation is the coordinates. When the body is rotating along one axis, the other two coordinates are changing, and this is known as the plane of rotation, and this is known as the axis of rotation if the body is rotating along x-axis. And what are the equations here during the change from linear to the rotational motion? We have the equation of motion v is equal to u plus at. Here we will change it as omega is equal to omega naught plus alpha into t. First equation of motion. Second equation, s is equal to ut plus half at square. Half at square, you will replace it as s is equal to ut is omega naught t plus half. Acceleration is taken as alpha into t square. The second equation of motion. And the third equation is v square minus u square is equal to 2as. So this equation is reduced as omega square minus omega naught square is equal to 2 into alpha into s is theta. You can take it as theta. And you have studied this in the circular motion in previous chapter, where theta is the angular displacement and omega is the angular velocity and alpha is the angular acceleration. So these are the equations of motion. Equation of motion in the rotational motion of system of particles. Got it? You can note down. Now the center of mass. What do you mean by the center of mass? Suppose an object is there and all particles in this object in the body are oriented randomly. Each particle is having its some mass, and if we apply the external force, suppose we are applying the external force at this point, the body will move. If you apply the force in this direction, the body will move. And it happens sometimes that we apply a single force, and that single force can balance or move the complete body, can move the whole body. It means the main effect is at that particular point. How you can experience this? Suppose you are having this duster and you are applying some force. You want to hold this duster in your hands and you are applying the force like this. You are applying some force. It means the weight of the duster is balanced by these 2 points. One force is acting here and another force is acting here. It means half of the force is balanced by this arm and half is balanced by this arm. Now you have to adjust it like this, that if we apply the force at a single point and at that single point this duster is balanced. It means the force which we were applying here and here, that force is now collectively applied here, and that is balancing the weight of this duster. It means we can assume that the whole mass of this duster is concentrated at this point. That's why the complete whole weight is balanced at this point. So from here we can write the definition of center of mass. It is the point where whole mass of the body is supposed to be concentrated. We assume that the whole mass is here, and if we rotate the body, we move the body, then the center of mass also moves like all the particles are moving. Suppose you are applying the force in this direction, the whole body will move, and now the body is in this position. It means every particle has traveled some distance. This particle has traveled the distance up to here, and center of mass will also travel the same distance like the other particles on the application of force. So this is the exact definition of center of mass, and you can find the center of mass for two particle system. Center of mass for two particles. How you can calculate, if you are considering two particles, how you can calculate the center of mass? Suppose this is the xy plane. In this plane, one particle is here. This is particle P1 having the position vector R1 and the mass of particle M1. And the second particle P2 is lying here. The position vector is R2 and M2 is the mass of this particle. And we assume that the center of mass is lying here, and M is the center of mass, and this point is at a distance capital R, that is RCM, the distance of center of mass from the origin. Now how you can find out the value of the center of mass for this particle system? We can write it as this M into RCM, the product of mass and the distance of the center of mass, is equal to the individual product of mass and distance of first particle plus the mass and distance of second particle. You can write it as M1 R1 plus M2 R2, and the distance of center of mass is calculated as M1 R1 plus M2 R2 divided by the whole mass. This is the value for the center of mass. If you want to calculate it in the coordinate system as the x and y coordinate, you can write it as the x coordinate, that will be M1 x1 plus M2 x2 divided by the total mass, or you can write it as M1 plus M2. Here capital M is equal to the M1 plus M2 is equivalent to whole mass of the particles. This center, we have assumed that the center of mass is the point where whole mass is assumed to be concentrated. So we can write M1 plus M2 as M. Similarly, we can write the Y component, that is M1 Y1 plus M2 Y2, and the whole value divided by M1 plus M2. So in this way you can find the center of mass for the two particle systems. Note it down. In the formula, RCM, the distance of center of mass, is equal to M1 R1 plus M2 R2 divided by M1 plus M2. If both the masses are equal, then this formula is reduced as M1 is equal to M2 is equal to M. Now equation 1 becomes the position vector of center of mass is equal to M common R1 plus R2 and divided by M1 plus M2, that is M plus M is 2M. This value is R1 plus R2 divided by 2. We can have the conclusion from here: if the both masses are equal, then the center of mass lies in between. Both masses are equal, then the center of mass lies at midpoint. Center of mass lies at the midpoint, but if M1 is very large as compared to M2, then the center of mass will lie, when the center of mass will lie near the heavy object, near the heavy point. So this is the another main important conclusion for you. Generalize the result. Generalize the result for n particles. Instead of 2 or 3, if you are having n particles, then what will be the change in the expression? Suppose you are having like this, you are having n particles. This is M1, M2, M3, and the last one is N. N particles are there. Their position vector R1, R2, R3, and Rn. This is x-axis, y-axis, and origin. How the center of mass is there? You can write the total mass is the sum of all the masses, that is Mn. This is equal to capital M. And distances are R1, R2, R3, and Rn are the position vectors. Now you can write the center of mass, capital M into RCM, for the n particles, the individual sum M1 R1 plus M2 R2 plus M3 R3 up to Mn Rn. Okay, and if you take the M in denominator, this will be capital M, or you can write it as M1 plus M2 plus M3 up to Mn. For the generalized relation, we can write it as RCM is equal to, this is the summation. Summation means the sum of all the values. I take it I is equal to 1 to I is equal to N. This is M, I, R, I. If the value summation means sum. If I is 1, this is M1, R1. If I is 2, then M1, R1 plus M2, R2. If I is 3, then M1, R1 plus M2, R2 plus M3, R3. In this way, and the next summation over the mass, here this is also I is equal to 1 to N, and this is Ni. Got it? You can write it as in the one summation over I is equal to 1 to N. This is Mi Ri divided by Ri. This is the generalized result for the center of mass for n particle system. So you need not to derive this in a log method. You can derive it for the 2 particle system, and then you can generalize it for the n particle system. Now this was all about the center of mass, where the center of mass lies, and one question arises here: what is the basic difference between the center of mass or the center of gravity? The center of mass is the point where the complete mass of the object is supposed to be concentrated. And if we talk about the center of gravity is related to the force of any object, force of earth on any object, the force with which the earth attracts the object. That's why we can call that as the center of, you can say the center of mass for the whole mass, and for the gravity you can write it as the center of weight. The whole weight of the object is supposed to be concentrated. Okay, this is all about the center of mass, and different bodies can have their center of mass at different position. Some body may have the center of mass outside the body also, and if any query is there, you can ask, and we will in the next lecture we will discuss about the effect of force.